Hello, everybody. I want to say hello and sorry that I missed your meeting today. I was really looking forward to hitting my third one. It's been great getting to know all of you. But here is a recording of my video or presentation of trauma-informed self-awareness. My name is Diane Wagster Penny, and I am an educator here at Enloe, but I am also an educator at Butte College in the nursing program. First, I want everyone to stand up. We're going to take a minute and just kind of do a grounding breath or two. And so everyone stand up. I'm going to have you take a nice big deep breath. You're going to hold it for 3 seconds, and then you're going to release really quickly, letting your whole body just relax with that breath. So here we go. We're going to go in. 1, 2, 3, and release. And you're just going to let that happen really fast and just let your whole body go with that. Once again, we're going to take a nice big deep breath. 1, 2, 3, and release. All right, let's go ahead and have a seat and I'll get going on with the rest of this. So why trauma-informed aware care? Well, a big part of it is because I've had a lot of personal trauma and traumatic events throughout my life. I read a book about it. It just kind of sent me down this trail of learning so much more. So my real father died when I was 6, and it was at a work accident. I went to a lot of different schools in 3rd grade, and I was hit head-on by a motorcyclist, and the driver did not survive when I was 19. I've also had a lot of work trauma. I went straight into an ICU after graduating nursing school. I did donor nursing for 3 years, which you deal with death on a daily basis. I worked in the emergency department for about 9 years, and then I was in management for a while as well. And in the end, this is what I wanted my doctoral project to be on, and I'm getting a doctorate in nursing education with a focus in this. Trauma in healthcare, many Americans have experienced at least one trauma in their lives, right? We've all had trauma or traumatic events. It doesn't mean it stayed with all of us and that all of us are walking around suffering from trauma-induced issues, but a lot of us are. And that trauma can affect one's ability to manage day-to-day activities, including your healthcare, your mental health, and even addictions, or make you more susceptible to addiction. Healthcare workers are experiencing these traumas, not only from our personal lives and stuff we have going on at home or how we were raised, but also from our experiences as part of our job. So interactions with healthcare organizations and within healthcare settings can also trigger patients or staff members. Especially if you had a traumatic event happen at work, you might be experiencing some anxiety just walking into the building. So trauma-informed care has 6 guiding principles: safety, which is physical and mental safety; trustworthiness and transparency, not only from leadership but also amongst ourselves, that we are being trustworthy and transparent with each other; that we're offering peer support. And Enloe is doing a great job at starting a peer support group where they provide monthly education and training. Collaboration and mutuality. This is about everyone brings something to the table, no matter what your role is here in the organization. Empowerment, voice, and choice. And that's just giving those that have felt like they haven't been empowered to speak or choose, giving them that power and that voice to make that choice. And then, of course, cultural, historical, and gender issues, which are not only a hot topic button in healthcare, but in our nation. One of the tools that's used with trauma-informed care is the window of tolerance. So this video, this 4-minute video, is going to explain to you what that means, what it looks like, what puts you out of your window of tolerance, how we have different windows of tolerance. But just take a minute, take that deep breath again, and just listen to what she has to teach us about window of tolerance.
When you're coping well with the ups and downs of life, when your thoughts are rational and your emotions are calm, you are said to be functioning within your window of tolerance. The window of tolerance was originally described by Dr. Dan Siegel as the optimal zone of arousal. If you stay within your window of tolerance, you're able to process and successfully respond to the demands of everyday life. So let's imagine you get a phone call from your boss and she asks you to do additional work over the weekend. Now that stressor may increase your level of arousal, maybe even to put you at the edge of your window of tolerance. But if you're still within that window, you can handle the stress and stay clear-headed. During times of extreme stress, you can move outside of your window of tolerance into a state of hyperarousal. The sympathetic nervous system is ignited and the fight or flight response activated. In this state, you may feel angry, irritable, chaotic, hypervigilant, anxious, have racing thoughts and a sense of restlessness. Hyperarousal results in the deactivation of your prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for executive function such as attention and impulse control. When the prefrontal cortex is essentially shut down, it's very difficult to think clearly and rationally. Stress can also make you plummet into a hypoaroused state. The parasympathetic nervous system is engaged and you freeze in response to stress or danger. In this state, you may feel overwhelmed, emotionally numb, exhausted, lack motivation and feel depressed. Your body posture may collapse or curl up in a ball and you may disconnect or dissociate in order to cope. So in the hypoaroused state, you have essentially shut down. Everyone's window of tolerance is different. For example, Peter has a wide window of tolerance for meeting deadlines and working evenings and weekends. Peter can tolerate the intensity of work well and the associated emotions. But Peter's window of tolerance quickly narrows when he's in a potential conflict situation. His blood begins to boil and he quickly moves into a hyperaroused state of rage. At this point, Peter's emotions are intense and difficult to manage. We all have different windows due to factors such as childhood experiences, social support, coping skills, and our neurobiology. For example, trauma survivors often have narrow windows and tend to spend a lot of time in a hyper or hypoaroused state. Now, the good news is that you can widen your window of tolerance and therefore increase your ability to manage stress. For example, if you are hyperaroused, you might find it helpful to use techniques that settle your mind and body, such as mindful breathing, listening to calming music, going for a gentle walk, or talking to a friend. If shifting from a hypoaroused state, this tends to require getting more active, so going for a brisk walk, doing some exercise, or engaging socially. Stimulating the senses via smell or touch, listening to uplifting music, or eating some food with a strong taste or crunchy texture. Psychological therapy may also widen your window as it can provide an external source of safety, a protected space, and a personal connection with someone. So you can learn to modulate your internal states, to raise arousal levels when too low, and to shift them back down when too high. So by monitoring and modulating your internal state, you can increase resilience and promote self-regulation.
So I hope that was informative for you guys. And so here is a look at my window of tolerance. I always picture when I'm in my window, I'm smooth sailing. Not much can bother me. I can let it roll off my back. Sunshiny outside, lots of flowers around. But when I'm out of my window of tolerance, you can see all the different ways that it may express itself. I make mistakes, either communication mistakes or physical mistakes. I can appear very aggressive or angry and without meaning to. I can have anxiety and depression, which has definitely been an issue in my dealing with trauma and being in my window of tolerance. So the reason a lot of us have those responses as well is especially when we're out of our window of tolerance, we go down into the depths of our trauma responses. And depending on the situation, depending on the response that we're giving for that situation, our responses may be different. But we're all familiar with the fight, flight, freeze. And then here's a few more that are kind of combinations of those three. So you can have your please and appease, right? I just don't want a conflict. I'll do whatever you say. Yes, you're right, whether you're right or not, right? You're just going to say that because that's just going to help you get out of this. Or maybe you're just going to collapse and submit and be like, okay, whatever, I'm moving on, right? I don't have time for this. Or attach, cry for help. For me personally, when that shows up in someone, I really struggle to offer them that support that they need. And so I have to realize that my response to their trauma response can be triggering, and I have to really physically and mentally think how I'm going to handle that situation. So here we look at hyperarousal symptoms, angry outbursts, fear, anxiety, panic, tight muscles, you're just feeling anxious, you're not really sure, or you're just feeling tight in your body and you're not really sure why. That is very much a signal that you're out of your window of tolerance. For whatever reason, that day or that moment or that time in your life, you're having a hard time getting back into that window or staying in that window. And then we have hypoarousal, which is depression, numbness, emptiness, inability to speak, and really dissociation. A lot of us experience dissociation. We dissociate from the situation, we dissociate from our bodies, we dissociate from various things that are going on around us to just try and not have to deal with it, especially when we're outside of our window of tolerance. And so I want you guys to take a minute and think about what that might look like when you're out of your window of tolerance. And I know it always depends on the situation. So for me, my window of tolerance is usually hyper, and it makes me come across as very intense, which I already have an intensity about me. And then the other side is I can just lay in bed all day and not want to get out, and I don't want to face anything. I'm just going to stay here until I can regulate back into my window of tolerance. I want to take a minute, just 2 minutes with you guys to do an exercise that could help you while you're figuring all of this out, maybe learning a little bit more about yourself. But if you're outside of your window of tolerance and you're feeling either of those things, hyper or hypoarousal, and you just aren't sure what to do, one great thing to do is the breath I taught you earlier. That's a very good grounding breath, and you don't even need to stand up to do it. But it's a great exercise to just kind of release whatever tensions are occurring. And the other thing, of course, is mindfulness meditation. So we're going to take 2 minutes at the end of this presentation and just let you have a couple minutes of mindfulness meditation. And just know that there's lots of free apps and lots of great YouTube videos out there that offer you this for free. It's not hard to find. And I hope that you get to relax in these next 2 minutes.
Allow yourself to be still for a moment and start breathing deeply in through the nose and out through the mouth. Don't worry about how loud your breathing is or if anyone can hear it. And there's no need to try and ignore any noise or distractions going on around you, or to try too hard to clear your mind. Imagine yourself as a rock in the middle of a stream. All the noise and commotion that may or may not be going on around you just washes over you without having any effect. Focus on your breath. Think about how anything that has negatively affected your day up until this point, and with each out-breath you are simply going to imagine any unnecessary stress these events are causing you to feel just ease away. Breathe in and observe how you feel. Breathe out and feel it easing from your mind. Now, still breathing deeply, take a moment to visualize how you want the rest of the day to go. Imagine achieving any goals and successes at the end of the day, and how that will make you feel. Create a mental picture of what that looks like and take a moment to play that out in your mind. Whenever you're ready, bring the exercise to a close and open your eyes.
Some final thoughts. Just remember to check in with yourself when you're having a hard time. Self-evaluate. Try to figure out what's going on. Often just recognizing that you're out of your window of tolerance helps you reset. Like just giving name or voice to it is amazing how much it takes away that pressure and also feeling so alone in that moment. Reach out to those around you when you need it. You don't always need to be the strong one. You have such a great support team in your management team and your coworkers and the organization. And it's really, they have such great resources for you to reach out to if you need additional help. In order to take care of others, it is imperative that we care for ourselves. And yes, it's great to do some yoga and it's great to get a hot bath and do all those self-care things. But truly taking care of yourself is really analyzing where it's coming from, trying to dig into that feeling and embrace it because it's okay to feel. We need to feel. Feelings are important. It's telling us something. Thank you so much for taking the 16 minutes out of your meeting to listen to me. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and a really great meeting.